Hello everyone, and welcome to Raz-Lee Security's User Profile Replication demo. First, let's look at the need for user profile replication. As enterprises worldwide consolidate their hardware into multi-system and multi-LPAR environments, the challenge to replicate user profiles and all related information such as passwords, parameter definitions, etc. has become extremely important. So too has the issue of managing system value definitions amongst the various very different systems, production, test, HA, development, etc. As such, differences will naturally exist between system value definitions on the different systems within the same enterprise. Also, IT management is clearly challenged with centrally administering these environments, either all of the systems or a subset of them, in a number of different areas, all of which are supported by iSecurity. So in this demo, we'll focus on replicating system values and user profile definitions. But the areas of, for example, determining the compliance levels of the systems, providing capabilities for flexible reporting, monitoring local and remote security activities via syslog, email, SMS, etc., and exporting or importing product-specific definitions, all of these are of paramount importance in multi-system environments. The features of iSecurity user profile replication are as follows. First of all, the product provides flexible user-defined replication rules defining what to replicate. In other words, user profiles and prefixes which will be replicated, defining the source of the target systems, defining the operations, create, change, delete user profiles, which will affect the replication itself, as well as the attributes to be replicated, whether it's disable, enable, password changes, parameters, and more. The replication is performed in real time and can be initiated from any system and does not require special commands. Replication supports bulk updates of user profile definitions and collects and displays network-wide replication results and a log file so that we have a full audit trail. In this schematic, we see 5 different systems with user profiles. Here in the center, as it were, we have replication rules which define, for example, if we make a change on this system, what will be replicated to where, and of course, as we mentioned, a report will be sent back to the initiating system so that we can have a full log and audit trail of exactly the changes that were made. So again, the product automatically intercepts these commands: create, change, delete user profile, and change password. And the replication log displays statistical information regarding the computers, the target systems, whether or not the command was issued successfully, whether there was an error, perhaps we're waiting for the remote system to respond. And the log also contains the full replication request, that is the command itself. So the objectives of this demo then are as follows. We're going to demonstrate the graphical user interface for user profile replication by focusing on the following activities. We'll define a user profile replication rule. We'll create a new user profile in a source system, which will then be replicated to one or more target systems. We'll change the user profile definition on the source system and see how it's replicated. We'll delete a user profile definition, and each step will verify that the user profile status was updated correctly. The product enables us to revive a previously deleted user profile definition. When we do the revive, we can actually change some of the user profile definitions. And we'll also show how to change a system value definition and see it replicated, of course, and verify that the log was updated successfully. If we now go to the graphical user interface of the product, we see here on the left the navigation screen, various products, audit, authority on demand, capture, compliance evaluator, firewall, etc. I've opened here two navigation windows, one for the replication product and another for user profiles that we'll be looking at shortly. To begin working with replication, we'll click on User Password Replication and Activities, enable User Profile Replication. We have now enabled the capability for replicating user profiles. At this point, let's look at the various rules that we've defined. I already have a rule here that I'll be using. This rule says that for any user beginning with the letters TE, any change made to any system in the environment will automatically be replicated to the system 150. And when I open that rule, I see that these are the operations which can be replicated. For example, create user. And using this radio button, I can decide whether or not to change the user profile definition if the new user, as it were, already exists on the target system. I can define, for example, for change user, whether or not I wish to create the user, even if the user is missing on the target system. I can decide whether or not deletions should be replicated, user disabled, enabled, password changes. All of these are parameters that I can decide upon. Looking at user profiles then, I have a number of user profiles here. I can copy the test user, let's say to test 0. I've now effectively created a user profile called test 0 on my source system, and I see it over here. Let's open the definition for this user. The user is currently enabled. Well, let's change the status to be disabled. And we'll see again how that too is replicated. Perhaps we wish to delete this user profile, test 0. I click delete. Currently, of course, in the background, the system itself has deleted user called test 0. And now, in line with the objectives that I set forth on the last slide that I showed you in the PowerPoint slides, let's now look at the replication log, refresh the log, and I can see here, for example, that at this point in time, I created test 0 on my system, and indeed, the request was replicated to the 150. These are the parameters of the create user profile command. I then did a change, if you recall, change user profile with status disabled. Here it's enabled, here it is disabled. And lastly, I did a delete user profile on my system, the system 720, which was replicated to the system 150. The 150 may not be connected right now, and so therefore the result is no answer. In any event, the replication and the command itself were issued to the remote system. I mentioned earlier that I can also revive deleted users. Let's click on that. Here is a list of deleted users, test 00. Let's revive this user as test 01. And the user now has been created on our system. We'll wait one more moment just to ensure that it was indeed created. Let's now, we'll return to this in a moment. Let's now click on system values. If we go to this system value, for example, over here, Q audit, auditing end action, the current value is asterisk notify. The optimal value, this is the value that we set in our compliance evaluator product, is also asterisk notify. The baseline value, again, is the same. Let's, just for the sake of argument, set the new value to the optimal value. There won't be a change made in essence. But if we go and look at the log now and do a refresh, and by the way, this create user profile command is indeed what we, the result of the revive command that I issued earlier. This is the replication to the 150 of that create user profile command. And here we see for this particular system value called QAudit ENDACN, we have on our system successfully changed the user value to asterisk notify. So once again, let's return to the objectives of the demo. We have indeed defined a user profile replication rule. We created, changed, and deleted the user profile definition. We verified in the log file that all activities were done correctly. We revived a previously deleted user profile definition and saw that in the log we did indeed see the this action listed, and we changed the system value and again verified that the log was updated. So thank you for your attention. We invite you to visit us at www.raz-lee.com. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to send me an email at marketing@raz-lee.com. Thank you once more.